Tim Donaghy was saying that when he was reffing, of the 65 refs there were, he said 50 were under payroll of the mafia, under some gambling conglomerate. And what makes it even more interesting is he said, it's not just the NBA. The NBA is just the tip of the iceberg. There's college sports that are coming. The NFL is coming. Basically saying that everything is the WWE. Everything is fake.
I've said for a while the NFL is definitely the WWE. When someone can have a 24-0 lead, can't get a first down for 3.5 quarters, and all of a sudden can score 30 points. Makes no sense. It's not real. It's not real sports because that would just never happen. Welcome to the Real Oshow. I'm Zachary. Joining me as always is my partner in crime, my brother Joshua.
And on today's episode, we discuss what everyone's missing about the NBA's gambling scandal. Enjoy.
They paper getters, they want money more than they want fame shit. I swear we go so hard, we on A-list. I see my niggas prevailing. We going hard for the hand. We gonna stack that we jaded.
This is a great interview. They doing their thing.
We're going to start today's show with 2-minute takes. Indiana is America's team. They went from the most losing college football program in history to a national championship contender in just 2 years.
What I think is the most interesting and why they are America's team is the way they're going about it. So before the season and still currently, they have the 72nd ranked roster in the country. Now, they also had the 46th best recruiting class and the 14th in the Big Ten, yet they're number 2 in the country and beating teams literally by 50. Like, I don't think people understand. An NFL team scoring 50 points in a blowout game like Detroit Lions do it, it happens. You got the best players, the best athletes. There's probably less than 15 college football teams that could score 50 points in any game of a team actually trying. Like, LSU couldn't score 50 points with routes on air. So the way Indiana's going about it, the way Curt Cignetti and the boys are playing is actually iconic. This is going to be a super memorable season regardless of the outcome, whether they win the Big Ten championship, whether they go win a national title. Curt Cignetti, build the fucking statue.
But what I'm saying is, if your team isn't in the college football playoff, you want Indiana to win. Everyone is looking at Indiana as their North Star. Can I take my shitty program and make it great again?
Yeah, but also Indiana going into this year spent, I think it was like $18-20 million in NIL, probably going to jump to $25-26 million. Like, there's really only 10-12 teams probably playing at that level. So it already knocks out a lot of teams there. Now, I'll also add, what makes this season even better is Vegas projected Indiana's win total at about 8.5. So essentially, Vegas thought they were going to lose 3 to 4 games, and now they're looking at going almost undefeated again. They went 11-1 last year, so what they're doing is just great. I'm having a really good time watching this.
Next, we have one of the most unique stories in all of sports with Drew Mestemaker, the starting quarterback at North Texas. He never started a game in high school as a quarterback. He played safety and was a punter. He was a 0-star recruit. He walked on at North Texas, and now he just threw for a school record 609 yards and has the team 7-1.
I mean, we hear a lot about Texas football being different. So North Texas, what they're doing is they have about $2.6 million for the next 3 years guaranteed in NIL. So that gives them the ability to compete at a certain level. Obviously, they aren't going to go upset the big boys in Indiana or a Notre Dame or an Alabama. But what it allows them to do is, this is the whole theory of NIL, which...
Fuck North Texas. This kid is about to get paid. Like, this kid just took North Texas to 7-1. You're telling me that he's not about to get paid. He's going to another. He's going to go to a big time school next year.
He's going to get paid. I'm talking North Texas now, but this is the feeder programs that we've talked a lot about in this NIL era. North Texas needs to get paid for giving this kid a chance and then putting him on the field as a walk-on.
100%.
Like, this dude's probably making $50K a year. I mean, he probably has some bonuses now, but he probably has $50K. Right now, he probably made to play this football season.
100%. But he's going to make $1 million next year, if not more.
Probably more.
If not more. And you're right. North Texas should get a finder's fee on this guy, because for a kid who's never started at quarterback, even at the high school level, to come out and do this, and you had the balls to give him a chance, you 1,000% should be repaid for that.
And they're ranked number 1 in the country in points per game, and they're 4th in passing yards. So they're throwing the ball around. And, you know, in NCAA college football 25, I took over North Texas. We don't play a lot of defense, but we do score a lot of points, so it makes a lot of sense to what's going on in North Texas. But they do actually have a chance being 7-1. If they win their conference, they could be the highest ranked non-Power 4 team. So they could maybe just wedge themselves into a college football playoff, which is $4 million, which would be doubling their NIL budget just for this year alone. For our deep dive of the week, we have a massive gambling scandal going on in the NBA with Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups, but everybody's missing this one key person that I think is going to be the expert coming out of this, and it's Tim Donaghy, former NBA referee who went to jail for essentially rigging basketball games, is now becoming the expert on what's actually going on behind the scenes.
Tim Donaghy was on a podcast with Coach JB, and he was spilling the beans on a lot of crazy things. And I don't know how JB got him on the podcast so fast. They must be boys, or he must have interviewed him in the past somewhere. Tim Donaghy was saying that when he was reffing, of the 65 refs there were, he said 50 were under payroll of the mafia, under some gambling conglomerate. And what makes it even more interesting is he said it's not just the NBA. The NBA is just the tip of the iceberg. There's college sports that are coming. The NFL is coming, basically saying that everything is the WWE. Everything is fake.
I've said for a while the NFL is definitely the WWE. When someone can have a 24-0 lead, can't get a first down for 3.5 quarters, and all of a sudden can score 30 points. Makes no sense. It's not real. It's not real sports, because that would just never happen. But he was also on another podcast with PBD that he said there was at least 6 refs being paid back when he got in trouble. And the NBA and David Stern, shout out David Stern, but tried to keep it under wraps and make Tim Donaghy look like he was the only person. He's the bad guy. He's the face of the whole and only operation. But Tim Donaghy was like, bro, there were 6 other guys I know for a fact that were getting paid. Like Scott Foster is literally, I think, the kingpin of the whole operation at this point.
On the JB podcast, Tim Donaghy even said that his FBI representatives texted him and was like, this is too big. The NBA can't brush this under the rug like they did with your scandal. He also made another big point when he said, look at the refs. They all wear earpieces today. Now look at a WWE ref. They wear an earpiece. Go watch the Inside WWE, and they literally talk to the refs in real time. Tim is saying a lot of these refs are literally getting microphoned in real time to make said call, make said play. Hey, throw a flag here, blow the whistle here, and are being coached on what to say in the real time.
Well, I don't think NBA refs wear an earpiece. NFL definitely does, but I don't think
NFL does. I don't know
does.
I don't know if NBA does, but he was saying any referee that has to wear an earpiece, they're getting wired stuff in.
NFL is clearly rigged. I don't think it's the players as much unless they own
But here's the thing, though.
money.
The NFL is harder because there's 16 refs all doing different things. So it's like to get all of them on the same page is very hard. Where in basketball, there's 3, 4? It's a little easier to get 3, 4 on the same page or 2 on the same page rather than 8 of 16.
In the grand scheme of things, like if we're going to take a step back, it's much easier to rig a basketball game than it is a football game. But
especially props.
Yeah, of course. But there's also props in the NFL, so that can also get shaky. I think player props at this point.
But there's so many more guys.
Listen, if you're a gambler, I would only bet on player props at this point.
But I think the NBA and NFL is different because a player prop in the NFL, you still have to have the quarterback throw it to you. You still have to run the ball. In the NBA, you will at some point obtain the ball, and you will have the ball and be able to do something. So it's like, you could easily be like, oh, under points. Oh, under this.
I also think it's just the best athletes. Like the NBA is the best athletes at a certain sport. Like the NFL, you can have a player there, you're like, he doesn't look like he belongs. Like if you are on the NBA court, you pretty much belong to an extent. But I also want to talk about this. Detroit Pistons legend Rasheed Wallace was actually on a podcast with Tim Livingston, who runs the Whistleblower podcast. He's actually good friends with Tim Donaghy. They've kind of pretty much broken down a lot of this stuff. Tim Livingston was very much, I would say, in the limelight in 2020, talking about like, there's going to be a big betting scandal that gets broken out about rigging games. And everybody was like, you're fucking nuts and crazy. But in a world full of lies, that's what happens.
People always call us nuts when we say shit's rigged.
Of course, but Rasheed Wallace talked about how, like, early on in his career, he used to go crazy on referees and get a ton of technicals. There was multiple years that he led the league in technicals, got a lot of suspensions, a lot of fines. But as he got older, he learned about what these refs would do with these emails essentially before the game. Tim Donaghy's talked about this a lot, where Tim Donaghy used to bet on games based on the emails and then based on the referee's kind of conversation before the game. Like, you know, Phil Jackson sending a lot of film to the league office about, hey, you're not calling this on Kobe Bryant. So he's like, Kobe's going to shoot 40 free throws tonight, so I'm going to take fucking Lakers minus 6.5. But there's these emails that went around. So Rasheed Wallace used to essentially go up to the refs when he was older in his career and be like, you guys are making this too obvious. Like, these emails are outrageous. And these referees would be like, what do you mean these emails? What do you mean? And he's like, oh, I know about these emails. So it seems like the NBA's really been doing it. And obviously every professional organization is going to be really under some heat. But Tim Donaghy also broke that he thinks college sports is going to be the biggest scandal of it all because these players need the money that aren't going to play professional sports. Obviously, NIL is crazy now, but even back before then, when these players were broke, like these players weren't eating. So I think college sports is about to open a can of worms under these investigations.
College sports makes a ton of sense. What doesn't make any sense at all are these guys making $50 million a year, $25 million a year to be the eighth man on the bench and give it all up to do the under on their props. It makes no sense. Like, it is pure stupidity.
I actually have something on this. So Tim Livingston, whistleblower podcast host again, he had on Michael Franzese, who he's good friends with, used to be a captain in the Colombo crime family, who ran a lot of their gambling ring. And he talked about there was a former New York Jets football player that owed him $500,000. And he was supposed to pay him 2% every Monday on his paycheck. And they were obviously tracking this dude. And so out of that conversation, he then went to other bookies to try to gamble and get that money to pay him. Then he went down there and then all of a sudden just wasn't paying, his 2% every Monday. And then he pretty much sat him down and was like, listen, if you want to get out of this, the next 3 times you get the ball next game, you're going to fumble the ball. He's like, you're going to do it. And if you don't want to hear what else happens. That is happening, maybe not at scale, but it is happening to 50 players.
The 3 fumbles, though, is crazy because that, in a sense, makes it even more obvious. Like, that's why I always feel bad for anybody that's, like, under the gambling microscope where they're like, Terry Rozier is caught gambling on his stuff. Then all the internet trolls just go and search their highlights and find the times they look the worst and post them all over the internet. Anybody who's played a sport knows you've had an off day, done dumb shit.
It's funny you say that. Malik Beasley, another Detroit Piston, actually got accused of rigging games and all of this, and he got proven like completely innocent. Actually fucked up his contract because he would have gotten a big contract, broke the Detroit Pistons like in-season record for 3-pointers, and then was supposed to be a free agent. Got smoked by these accusations, got investigated, missed free agency, and then had to sign for the fucking vet minimum because all these teams were like, didn't have the money. So stuff like that is going to happen. And it's crazy because it's like...
It looked real. It looks like he was throwing these games.
But in a world of AI, that's going to be even worse. Like, bro, at this point, and gambling's everywhere. I enjoy gambling a little bit. Joshua gambles a little bit. Like, we're not doing it to the extent of a lot of people, but like, man, gambling needs a little bit of a reset, needs to come down a little bit. And if you're gambling like hard-earned money that you need on these games, this fucking thing is openly rigged.
Well, the problem,
and you're trying to win money off this, it's just stupid.
The problem is people are gambling trying to get rich. I'm gambling for fun to make this game more interesting. I'm not being like, if I lose this $30, I'm like, whatever. I'm not like, here's $3,000 on this game. I need this $3,000 to pay rent. If I don't pay rent, I'm fucking going to be just homeless. It's like, who does that? Have a brain. I understand it's an addiction.
A lot of people are doing that, Joshua.
But what I'm saying is you are dumb if you think that you can beat these casinos and these people that they're making hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, because people are stupid.
I'm pretty sure that if these players are working with whether it's the mafia or Vegas or these sports books or like whatever, like these people have to have information on them that they're like, listen, you're going to do this or else.
It's not even that.
Because
what I'm saying is if you had a private investigator follow every player in the NBA, NHL, NFL, MLB, do you know how much shit that they would find on these guys? Cheating on their wives, gambling, doing X, Y, and Z, drugs. Like, that is the minimal of what you would find in all of that.
But that makes me even more sure and more confident that that's why these players are doing this. Because there's no reason. Maybe you can convince me like NHL because they don't make a lot of money, but like NBA players, like,
that's
you
where
don't even
I
hold on,
think it's not NHL.
I agree, and I think baseball is even hard too because it's like it's hard to fuck up.
Too hard to
100
rig
miles
up.
per hour. Like it's hard. Like NFL, NBA, complete are the two that are definitely, and they also get the bulk of the gambling money anyways.
Yes.
But it makes me even more confident. That's the only reason these players are doing this, and especially in the NBA in this day and age. Like, you could play 2 minutes a game and make fucking $15 million. Like, what is $200,000 to you? Like, go sign a fucking shoe deal. Go do a couple signings. Like, go fucking
Start a podcast.
Go to fucking China and do a basketball camp and charge fucking $20 a ticket. Like, you could make $200,000 easy.
It makes no sense.
That's the only reason that it's either you're trying to help out your boy who's broke and you don't want to give him money, and so you're giving him insider information, or you're just a straight up idiot, or they have fucking information on you.
We're going to round out today's show with Did You Know? Did you know that Daniel Jones gets a $100,000 bonus for every game he wins this season?
Wow. Because they must have not have thought he was going to win many games with that bonus.
It's called an incentive-based salary, and 100%. They didn't have confidence that he was going to win many games. The only other person in the NFL that has that same contract is Mac Jones. Except Mac Jones gets $100,000 for every game he wins, but only has to be in 25% of the game. So an even better incentive. Now, if the Colts make the playoffs, Daniel Jones gets another $1 million and $250,000 for every win on top of that.
That makes me feel like they actually had no confidence in Daniel Jones with that incentive structure.
They didn't believe in him at all, but if you actually think about it, take Josh Allen, for example, his contract. Josh Allen makes more money in 4 games than Daniel Jones's contract the whole season if he hits every single bonus.
Yeah, but Josh Allen has earned that, and every team in the NFL would trade and get rid of everybody. Like, a GM and head coach would divorce their wife to have Josh Allen as the quarterback.
100%. But what I'm saying is Daniel Jones is great value, because if you look at the Colts right now, they technically have the most efficient offense in NFL history right now. Better than the 17-0 New England Patriots or whatever their record was.
Yeah, and the Colts and or somebody in the NFL is about to give Daniel Jones $250 million. And to me, it seems like it's not going to end well. And the only reason he's really playing well is he knows he has to play well. Like, this was kind of Daniel Jones's last opportunity. Yes, he took advantage of it. Yes, Sam Darnold kind of got the same opportunity last year with the Vikings. Now he's taking advantage of it again with the Seahawks. But still, it's hard to catch lightning in a bottle. And just because you have one good season does not make you elite. You have to be elite for 8+ years to be considered great.
I disagree. The NFL closes the door on quarterbacks way too fast. You have Sam Darnold, turned out to be a stud. He's top 5 quarterback statistically this year. You have Baker Mayfield, who got thrown out of Cleveland, thrown out of Carolina, thrown out of LA. Now he's an MVP caliber quarterback. You have Jared Goff. Everyone thought he was horrible. They were like, oh, the Lions are going to go die. Absolute stud.
He got traded for a future first ballot Hall of Famer, though.
Now you got Daniel Jones leaving New York, having a fucking time. New York is where you go to die.
Yeah, but it's also where you go to be an absolute fucking legend and billionaire if you're halfway decent. You shot like Eli Manning.
Great defense, though.
Yeah, for sure. But, like, listen, if you could thrive in one place or a couple places, is literally New York and LA. Those are the places. If you can be great, you're a legend forever, and you will make literally $1 billion post-career.
Switch Peyton and Eli, give them each other's careers. I bet Peyton has like 4 or 5 rings. I bet you on the contrary, Eli has 0. Maybe 1 with the Denver team. The Denver team was actually elite defense.
Yeah, that was an elite team. But if you made it this far, drop a like, leave a comment, hit subscribe, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Peace.
About to get on this dope. Me and no fuck niggas know. I swear to God we the ghosts. This ain't the story they told. Man, if you know, then you know. I never had to tell my dogs that we on road for greatness. They paper getters, they want money more than they want fake shit. I swear we go so hard, we on A-list. I see my niggas prevailing. We going hard for the hand. We gonna stack till we jaded. I just told my niggas that we on a mission. Yeah. It's gonna be hard to get it.